Hello everyone, my name is InSein, and this is Mr. Insane in theaters. In this specific series, I'm going to take a look at the movies that are still in theaters. So I will avoid spoilers until the very end of the video if it is necessary. I will give the warning. So those are the rules from now on, and let's take a look at this quickie review. So today, we're taking a look at the recent remake from the 1987 romantic comedy, Overboard. The story is about this single working mother, played by Faris, who happens to have many jobs to raise her family. One of the jobs is cleaning a yacht from a rich playboy, played by Eugenio Derbez, who happens to be a jerk, fires her, and doesn't pay her. After things happen, the rich playboy falls off his yacht and gets amnesia. So when the single mother hears about this news, she goes to the idea on making him think that she is his wife and that her children are his. And then later she will put him to work, so probably that way he will pay her for what he owned. Before I start the review, let me talk about the original 1987 film, which was directed by Gary Marshall and stars Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn. I didn't like it. I only saw it the one time and it wasn't a good experience. I do have problems with the movie, which I'll get into during the review of this one, but yeah, it's really one of Gary Marshall's weaker films. And the fact is that Marshall, who may rest in peace, is not a great director, but he's not the worst either. He has done decent movies, and this is not one of his worst films. And trust me, he has done worse than this. Maybe the second time I'll be forgiven, but right now, low. Let me start with the things that I like about this film. And the first thing that comes to my mind are the two main actors. Eugenio Derbez is one of the funniest Mexican comedians that I have ever seen. I grew up with his shows, his characters. He's downright hilarious. So it was quite amazing when he goes through Hollywood and making American films. Even though at first he started out with crappy movies after crappy movies, and then he later made an impact with his directorial debut with Instructions Not Included. So after that, he starts to make films that are either okay or decent, either way. And in the case of this film, he's really good in this. One of the differences between the original and the remake is that in the original, Goldie Hawn plays the rich spoiled lady while Kurt Russell plays the single working parent. While in the remake, they decided to swap genders where Eugenio Derbez is the rich playboy while Faris is the single working parent. And in all honesty, I think that works for me very well. Mostly because Derbez is really good at playing his part. When he plays the rich playboy, he really is hilarious. Like he just cracks me up when he just acts like a jerk to Faris and just throws her into the water. And then when he gets amnesia, he still has a pretty fun and likable personality. I mean, a little. I mean, I'll get into the problems with the film, but in all honesty, he really nails for the part because he has such really good charisma. That's what I like about comedians like him. Speaking of which, Faris is really good at playing the single working parent. I'm glad that they swapped the genders because if she played the rich spoiled lady, she probably would have been annoying and a little obnoxious. But I'm glad that they give the role that she was given in this film. And the thing about Faris is that she always plays really good in the romantic comedy roles. Like, she's one of those actresses that is really good in this. And even though, yeah, Faris has done terrible movies on her career, but she's always the best parts in those movies, like The House Bunny or some of the sequels from the Scary Movie franchise. Both Derbez and Faris have a decent amount of chemistry, and they also deliver such funny lines of dialogue. Like, there are moments that just makes me laugh every time when these actors are speaking to each other. Like, yeah, some of the humor is a bit predictable, but at the same time, they're just really funny. Like I said, the humor is almost top notch. But not only because of Eugenio Derbez and Anna Faris, but also because this film has a few Mexican actors that just automatically make me laugh. The Mexican humor has always had a good style of how they say their jokes in such massive delivery. And in this film, the Mexican actors that we got were Omar Chaparro and Jesus Ochoa. The latter one giving such a memorable performance that makes me laugh every time when I see him on screen. So needless to say, I don't get tired of rewatching his scenes if I see this movie again. So those were the things that I like about this film. What are the things that I didn't like? Well, there are moments that this film derails, for my opinion. And ironically, they're the exact same thing that derails the original. First thing, the premise is still terrible. The biggest question is, how can you make likable characters with this story? Like I said, the story is about this rich jackass who treats this poor person like crap, and when the amnesia comes, the poor person decides to make a lie on this rich jackass and making a living hell. The writing is still bad. It's formulaic, cliched, and it's just doing the exact same things from the original, and at times it doesn't feel fresh. Even though Derbez and Faris are good in their parts, it doesn't mean that their characters are perfect. And when I mean that at times they can be likable and at times they can be cringeworthy. There are moments where Anna Faris almost gets me a little picky at times because this is a character that we're supposed to relate. Some of the cast are either not used potentially or just playing the exact same tired tropes that you've seen in other movies. Most specifically, Anna Faris' daughters in this film are really bland. Like, for example, the third daughter is always the one that says the cutesy things, like everybody is gonna say, oh my god, that's adorable, because a kid would not say that sort of thing. But not nearly as annoying as the first daughter, who always plays the moody teen that nobody understands her and her life is terrible. And then the second daughter, well, it could be anything, but this kid just didn't have anything. She's probably the blandest of the three. Although I will admit that there's only one scene where the three girls actually give a good performances, and it's the scene where they say their goodbyes to Eugenio Derbez. I mean, the only problem with that scene is that, while good performances, it's a little bit too much for the movie's tone to handle. John Hannah, who I mostly remember him as Jonathan from the Mummy movies, is really funny in this film. He delivers a line or two that do make me laugh, but again, his character was only more of a minor role, like not really much of a strong presence, and I really kind of wish that we had more of his character than just being a short role. The theater that I was in was really packed. It was completely full, and there were lots of people that they were laughing and they were going like that. I felt like I was part of the live audience of Fuller House, which is one of the things that I would not want to experience. In conclusion, this movie is just average. It has good actors and humor that give such enjoyable moments, but they're not strong enough to save from this terrible story and weak script that's full of formulaic and tired cliches that are easily to predict, and that aspect just bores me at times. It was still funny, but not surprising. But I will give credit that I at least like this movie better than the original. Like I said, the original was annoying with its story and characters. I like Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell, but they have done better comedies than this. While Eugenio Derbez and Anna Faris, even though they're handling a weak script, they at least give it all for making their characters likable and funny at the same time. Sort of Description is actually the exact same thing that I thought about Eugenio Derbez' last comedy, which was How to Be a Latin Lover, which was funny but still predictable. I admire that Derbez is trying to make Hollywood movies, which is quite exciting, but I sure hope that he does something different than just your typical comedy. And ironically, the next film that he is about to appear is actually more interesting, that I'm really excited about. And who knows, maybe I'll give this movie a second chance if I rewatch it in the Spanish dub. As I mentioned, the Mexican humor has a style of bringing joy and laughter with the way they say in their dialogue. And Derbez is always the best part on that department. But for now, this movie is just okay. So that's all for today, and I'll see you into the next review. See you later.